Kitzur Aruch, chapter 59, Siman Kov, Siman Nun Yod Ches. Ein Mavrachin Shechianu al Areach. Do not make the bracha on Shechianu on new smell. Mishum Dereach Demin Areach Nena Hamashama, because Gemara tells us that the neshama is the part of the body that benefits from smell. Pasuk Kol HaNeshama Tahal Kahal Kol Gemara learns it out, and the neshama he nitzchias, and the neshama is eternal. So, since the idea of the bracha Yanu implies a transient benefit that we get from it once a year, and that's for physical existence. But since the neshama is eternal, therefore we don't make this bracha. It's not appropriate. Yod Tes. Also, a person will have to give din v'cheshbon for what he saw with his eye but didn't eat, meaning he didn't use the opportunity to benefit from this world and thereby give HaKadosh Baruch Hu a bracha. Rabbi Elazar at some say a priti. Rabbi Elazar would save very small amounts of money, like pennies. And he would eat everything that he could buy in the year new. So he would make a special effort to find a new fruit in order to make shechianu. Kaf. Somebody who sees another person after 30 days. And this person is very special to him, a close friend, relative. And as a person who's senior to him, going over a rabbi, his father teacher, and he's happy to see him. Even though in the meantime he received a letter from him, so which means you receive letter or you receive news of the person and you don't recite, because in that case, sometimes, we assume that the person is still alive. That goes as far as the other bracha, which we're going to speak about, is concerned. However, as far as the bracha of Shechianu is concerned, if he is happy with the seeing of that person, then he's allowed to and should make the bracha of Shechianu, even if he received a letter or other communication in the meantime. And if he sees him after 12 months, he hasn't seen him for 12 months, person who doesn't see another person for 12 months partly gets forgotten. Just like a mace also would get forgotten in part, at least, after Yud Beis Chodesh, which in some degrees is a chesed, but in the case of a mace, that person can cope with the situation, so the memory is not as alive as it would be within 12 months. So, in the same reason why we have to say Zochar for Amalek also within 12 months, because we learn this from a positive, Nishkachti kimeis milev hayisi kichli oved, which means I've become forgotten like a person dead from the heart. I've become like a lost container. What way? Ma'akli, just like a keli, Misha Ma'abid Osa, a person who loses it, and doesn't find it within 12 months, then Misyash Menu, there is an assumption in many cases. Af Hames, also a dead person, Nishkach min alev l'achar Yud Beis Chodesh, will get forgotten from the heart after 12 months. It doesn't mean he's forgotten completely. It means that the reliving of the person is much less than it was previously. So, the Einam of Rosh Hashanah. So in this case, when a person has not seen somebody else for 12 months and he makes the bracha of Machayim Meisim, he doesn't make Shech. This is what he was referring to before. But in the middle of that 12-month period, he received a letter from the other person or he heard about the welfare of that person during that period of time. And in that case, he doesn't make Mechayim, but he makes the bracha of Shechianu. He can't make him because of the fact that a person knows that he's still alive. So therefore, the rejoicing at seeing him still alive is not the same if he didn't have any communication from him. Presumably, according to the logic of this, the same halacha would apply for any other form of communication that you receive from a person in a modern form of communication. You receive an email or some other communication that would also count, in which case he wouldn't make L'chayim Mesim, would make Shechianu. There's no difference between males and females. Even a man sees his wife after they've been separated for a long period of time, his mother or daughter, a woman who sees her husband, the brachas that we make are the same. Now we have a very interesting halacha which will be really unusual, but we have the following. Regarding a person's friend we never saw, but they exchanged letters, they sent letters one to each other for a long period of time. They can be considered to be friends. And then they meet, he doesn't make a bracha, seeing the person. Since he never previously had seen him face to face, their love, their connection cannot be so strong. She hates also that they make happy to see him to the extent that he needs to make a bracha that we learned in the other sea, whether it's either for 30 days or for a year. That both of those cases are where the person has seen him previously. But here we're talking where the person never ever saw the person before. It was just simply a correspondence relationship. And now he meets him, then he doesn't make a bracha. In this case, because the simcha is not regarded as being so great in halacha. You might say that okay, it's a greater simcha in a certain way because he's never seen him before, but it doesn't. That's not what the bracha relates to. The bracha relates to having seen a person and being separated and now being put together with the person. So say it may be unusual. It reminds me that in the 1970s and 80s, people used to write to Jews in Russia to do correspondence with them. The refuseniks, they never saw them. And maybe years later, they might have met them, and this halacha may have applied in those circumstances. And also the Kitzur notes here, the din hatova hametiv ashunu yain kasiv b'siman mem test. There's a special halacha of the bracha hatova hametiv when it comes to wine, which is meant previously, which is a very special, again, a special area of halacha. When you change to a new wine during the meal, which is has its own special conditions.